They thought you were weak. They thought you were nothing. But what they didn't know, what they never saw coming, was the storm inside you, waiting to break free. They watched you struggle, watched you fight through every obstacle, and in their ignorance they wrote you off. They believed the lies they told themselves, that you were too small, too insignificant, too broken. But what they failed to realize is that the strength you carry doesn't need their validation to exist. It thrives in silence, grows in darkness, and waits patiently for the moment when the world will be forced to look at you and see the power that was there all along. And now, here you stand, still standing despite everything. You've been pushed down, dismissed, and trampled on. You've heard their whispers, their judgment, their doubts about your worth, and they've left scars. But those scars aren't signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived, proof that you're still here, and proof that something inside of you refused to die. The world tried to bury you, tried to convince you that you would never rise, but it's always been in the darkest corners that your true strength began to form. Your struggle wasn't a punishment. It was the forge in which your power was made. You've faced the moments of doubt, the days when you looked in the mirror and wondered if all of this was even worth it, when the weight of others' expectations crushed your chest, and you thought you might never breathe again. There were the nights when the silence was louder than any noise, when you felt alone, abandoned and unseen. You were that person, forgotten, overlooked, discarded by the world. But in that invisibility, something miraculous happened. You started to find the truth. You started to understand that your power was never meant to be seen by others, because what's invisible is often the strongest. Your struggles, your pain, your resilience, it was never meant to be on display for the doubters. It was always meant to be the foundation of something greater, something they would never see coming. The people who stood in your way, those who mocked your ambition, ridiculed your dreams, and scoffed at your efforts, have no idea what they were truly dealing with. They didn't see the fire that burned beneath your skin, the storm waiting to be unleashed. They didn't understand the depth of your will, how every push they gave you only dug the roots of your power deeper. Now, as you stand in this moment, you see the truth. It wasn't them holding you back. It was you holding your own power back. The seed of transformation was always in your hand, and it took their dismissal, their doubt, to awaken it fully. You didn't need their approval to rise. You needed their underestimation. So let them laugh, let them talk, because you know what they didn't, what they never saw coming. You were always more than what they saw in front of them. You were always destined for greatness. And now, the storm inside you is roaring, and it's unstoppable. You've just begun to realize the strength that's been there from the very start. They tried to mold you, tried to shape you into what they thought you should be. Their expectations, heavy, suffocating, wrapped themselves around you like chain, like a crown too tight to wear. They told you who to be, what to do, when to speak, and when to stay silent. Every step you took was not your own, but a reflection of their desires, their dream, their vision of what you should become. The weight of their judgment pressed down on you, crushing you under its suffocating force. It was never enough. No matter how much you gave, how hard you fought, the bar was always set higher. The goalposts always moved. You were never allowed to be yourself. Instead, you were a puppet dancing on strings they pulled from behind the curtain. You couldn't escape the pressure, and every attempt to break free felt like you were just spinning in circles, trying to shake off an invisible force that was always just one step ahead of you. The burden of others' expectations shaped your path, and with each twist and turn, you began to lose sight of your own identity. You no longer knew if the choices you made were yours, or if they were just another way to meet someone else's demand. You walked down a road filled with other people's dreams, their wishes, their desires for your life. You lived for them, fought for their approval, never knowing that your own desires, your own heart's calling, had been buried beneath the weight of their wants. The longer you carried that burden, the more you began to feel like a shadow of yourself, a distant echo of the person you once were. And in that struggle, the world stood in judgment. The rejections came in waves. Doors slammed shut in your face. Opportunities slipped through your fingers. And with every failure, you felt the pressure mounting. Fear whispered that you weren't enough. Rejection screamed that you were invisible. Failure told you that you were destined to remain small, forgotten. It felt like you were living in a world that was constantly pushing against you, always trying to knock you down, telling you that you would never make it. You tried to fight back, tried to prove them wrong, but the chains were heavy. They were so heavy that sometimes it felt easier to just let them pull you down than to keep fighting. So you stood there, trapped, unable to move forward, unable to break free. But what they didn't realize, what they didn't understand, was that every chain they placed on you, every expectation they set, every rejection they threw your way, it all became the fuel for something far greater. You felt small, insignificant, lost. But deep down, in the silence of your mind, something was stirring, something that refused to give in, something that refused to break. That was the voice, the enemy within. It was quiet at first, that voice of doubt. Soft, subtle, it whispered in the corners of your mind, mimicking the voices of the ones who tried to tear you down. You're not good enough, it said. You'll never make it, it repeated, until you started to believe it. It told you that you weren't worthy of success, that you weren't smart enough, strong enough, brave enough. It fed on your fears, turning every flaw into a reason to give up, turning every mistake into a scar that you couldn't heal. The enemy within was relentless, never giving you a moment's peace, always there, reminding you of your limitations, your failures. And with each passing day, it grew louder, until it felt like the only voice in the room. But the thing about the enemy within is this: it isn't real. It's a shadow, a ghost of all the doubts that others projected onto you. It's a lie that you've accepted as truth, and yet it still holds you hostage. The more you listen to it, the more you lose yourself. And the more you lose yourself, the harder it becomes to fight. That's the trap. It's the inner battle that no one can see. The war you fight every day in silence, hoping no one notices the cracks that start to form. And then, in the midst of this battle comes the silence, the moment when everything falls away, when the world stops moving, and you're left with nothing but your thoughts, your fears, your failures. It's in that silence that you are forced to face the truth. You question yourself. You question everything. You ask yourself if you can keep going, if it's even worth it anymore. The silence becomes deafening, and in that stillness, doubt takes over. You stand at the edge, the world around you dark and cold, and the weight of everything presses down, threatening to pull you under. But in that moment of silence, something shifts. It's subtle, almost imperceptible at first. A whisper, a faint voice, your true voice, breaking through the noise. It's small, fragile, but undeniable. It's the voice of the power you've always had, buried deep inside, waiting for the right moment to awaken. It's the voice that's been silenced for so long by the enemy within, by the weight of others' expectations, by the rejection and failure. But now, it's starting to rise. The whispers become clearer, louder. You hear it now, and it's saying one thing: you are more than this. You are stronger than they ever knew. In that silence, you begin to realize that your true power doesn't lie in the validation of others. It doesn't depend on their expectations or their opinions. It lies in the quiet strength that's been inside you all along, the strength that can't be broken by rejection, by failure, by doubt. And the more you listen to that voice, the more it grows. It becomes louder, clearer, until it drowns out the enemy within. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. The storm inside you is rising, and it's time to let it break free. The flame inside you is awakening. It was always there, smoldering beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to ignite. You felt it for so long, that quiet knowing, that subtle energy that tells you you're capable of more than what the world sees. But for a long time, it remained hidden, buried beneath layers of doubt, fear, and expectation. The world never gave you permission to shine, never told you it was okay to rise. But now something has changed. Something deep inside you has shifted. The storm that was brewing, the fire that was waiting, can no longer be ignored. It's a spark that's turned into a flame, and now there's no turning back. It may have started small, a glimmer of realization in a quiet moment, a flash of clarity in the midst of your pain, but it's growing, expanding, spreading through every fiber of your being. That light that once felt distant now feels like a burning inferno, powerful and unstoppable. It's a fire that will consume everything in its path, burning away the doubts, the fears, the limitations. This is your moment of awakening. This is the moment you realize that the world never knew what it was dealing with. They never saw your potential, never understood your power. They thought they could break you, but they didn't know that your strength was forged in the flames of your struggles. Now they will see the fire that you've become. This is your rebirth. The person you were before, the one filled with self-doubt, the one who carried the weight of others' expectations, is gone. In its place, a new you has emerged. A you who is unafraid, unshakable, and ready to conquer. The storm is no longer a distant threat. It is here. It is you. And now, you will unleash it. You are the force of nature they never saw coming. You were never weak. They thought you were broken, but you were only being forged. Every tear, every failure, every rejection, it wasn't a sign of your defeat. It was the very thing that prepared you for this moment. They thought you couldn't rise, but now you stand before them as a force to be reckoned with. They never saw it coming. The villains that once held you captive are now in your sights. The doubts that whispered in your ear, the fears that paralyzed you, the expectations that bound you. These are the villains you must confront. They have no power over you anymore. You have awakened. The chains that once held you down now lie shattered at your feet. The shadows that tried to keep you hidden are gone, and you stand in the light of your own strength. No longer will you allow them to define you. No longer will you be confined by the limitations they tried to place on you. The societal norms, the false idols they worshipped, the rules they tried to make you follow, all of these are illusions. They are nothing compared to the power that courses through your veins now. The villains that once seemed so strong are nothing more than illusion, weak in the face of your true power. You are not the person they tried to make you. You are not the person they thought you would be. You are the storm, you are the fire, and you will not be stopped. The truth they feared has been revealed. You are the one who will reshape the world, the one who will carve your own path, the one who will break free from every chain. The villains who once thought they could control you, who once thought they could break you, are now standing in the dust of their own defeat. They never saw it coming, and now they are paying the price. The moment of defiance has arrived. You can feel it rising in your chest, that unshakable force, the roar of your true power, ready to be unleashed upon the world. For so long, you lived in the shadow of others' expectations, confined by limitations that weren't even your own. But now, everything has changed. You stand tall, unbowed, and ready to face whatever comes your way. The world thought it could break you, that it could keep you in your place, but it was wrong. You are no longer the person who was silenced by doubt, by rejection, by failure. No, you are something far more powerful, something that cannot be contained. You are the lion awakening from its slumber, the phoenix rising from the ashes. The past has no hold on you. It's time to step into your destiny, to reject everything that tried to keep you small, and to embrace your full potential. The world has no idea what's coming for it now. In this moment, you realize that your strength was never absent. It was always there, waiting for the right time to show itself. Every moment of struggle, every ounce of pain, every rejection, every failure, it was all part of your journey, part of what made you who you are today. It wasn't the world that held you back. It was your own fear, your own doubts, that kept you from realizing what you were truly capable of. But now, that fear is gone. The doubts have been silenced, and in their place is the undeniable, unstoppable force of your true self. You are a force of nature, an unstoppable wave, a relentless storm. You are the power that has always been within you, and now it is being unleashed with a force that even you could never have imagined. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are not powerless. You are everything you need to be, and you have always been that way. The strength that resides in you is limitless, unshakable, and untouchable. The more you recognize it, the more it grows. You are not just a survivor. You are a conqueror. You are a creator. You are a destroyer of limitations. And now, with every step you take, with every action you make, you are proving that the world can no longer ignore your power. They thought you were weak, but now they see that you were never weak. You were just waiting for the right moment to show them exactly what you are made of. And now, they're getting more than they ever bargained for. Now the tides have turned. The people who once doubted you, who once tried to hold you back, they can't deny it anymore. The strength inside you is undeniable. Your power is so immense that it's unrecognizable to them. The person they once knew is gone, and in their place is someone who will stop at nothing to achieve greatness. They never saw it coming. They never saw how strong you were. They never saw how capable you were. And now, the consequences of their underestimation are upon them. They are the ones who will be left behind as you rise, as you break free from their chain, as you show them what happens when someone finally realizes their own power. The world didn't believe in you. It laughed at you. It underestimated you. But now, it will be forced to reckon with the power you've awakened. You are a force to be reckoned with. You are unstoppable, and those who once thought you were nothing will now be left in the dust of their own ignorance. They never saw it coming, but you did. You knew, and now they are paying the price for underestimating the storm you've become. The time has come for you to stand tall, not just as an individual, but as part of a collective force that cannot be ignored. You are no longer a single flame struggling to survive in the darkness. No, you are a wildfire, unstoppable and consuming everything in its path. Your power is no longer contained. It is a tidal wave, a tsunami of strength that will reshape the very fabric of the world around you. You are not alone in this. There are others like you, others who have broken free from the chains of limitation, others who have risen from the ashes just like you. Together you form an unstoppable force, a legion of warriors, leaders, and creators who will change the course of history. Every step you take now sends ripples through the world. Every action, every word, every decision carries the weight of your newfound power. The world will feel your presence, your energy, your determination. You are no longer a passive observer in your own life. You are the creator, the architect, the leader of your own fate. You are the fighter who will not back down, the force that will not be silenced. The time for waiting, for asking permission is over. You are the one who will set the course. You are the one who will shape the future. The path ahead is yours to claim. It is yours to build. And those who once thought they could break you, who once doubted you, who tried to hold you back, they will now see what happens when you rise. They will now see the consequences of underestimating the storm that lives inside you. They didn't know what you were made of, but now they will. The world has no idea what's coming, but you do. You know that your strength, your power, your vision will take you to places they never imagine. Now go out and show them what happens when you rise. Show them what happens when you break free from the chains they placed on you. Show them what happens when you take what's yours, because it's all within your reach. You have already defeated the doubts, shattered the fears, and broken free from the limits they tried to place on you. The world is yours now, and it will bow to you, because you are the one who refused to be held down. You are the one who rose from the ashes, who rose from the darkness, who rose from everything they tried to do to break you. So step into your power, embrace your greatness. The world thought they could break you, but what they didn't see coming is that you were always destined for this. Now take your place at the top. Now rise